Okay, welcome, welcome. I want to share time with a really wonderful coach who I met through a business program that we were both in. And I just feel so grateful that I got to meet Fanny Elizaga. And I met, did I do okay?
Yes,
And
yes, perfect.
I also met some other wonderful professionals. And what I want to share with you today is Fanny's background, the way she helps people beautify their minds, because Fanny is a trauma-informed neurocoach. She's an occupational therapist. She is also a Reiki Master Practitioner and an instructor of Qigong. So she has this beautiful canvas of wellness to invite into your life to help you just refocus the brain. And I just want to hear more about this work, Fanny, because I have had a consultation with you. I've got your ebook. I love what you're doing, and it's actually helped me attune to calming down, to be present. What did I miss, Fanny? Tell me anything that I missed in this introduction today. And
No, you did. You got it. You got it. You're on point. Yes,
my gosh.
yes,
Well,
yes.
I love I love what you're doing for people, families, individuals, and I would just love to learn a little bit about beautifying the mind, and then I'd love to hear more about your offerings and that kind of thing. But how
Sure.
did how does your work do that? How does your work help to clarify, bring beauty into our world?
Well, first of all, by being present, using the mindfulness based techniques, the fact that you go calm down, stop everything, and then you're present and able to feel yourself, feel the environment, pay attention to the sensations and be present. That in itself, it helps have a beautiful sense of the world around you. And not only that, you can really perceive and smell and have the sensations. So that incorporating all this can not only it helps people see the world beautifully, but then the fact that they're calming down and being very being kind and bring this different sense, not sensation, values that we have, being kind and smiling and joy. All this helps people be kinder to other people and be kinder also to the world, how we treat the world, how we treat the plants, the planet. So that's the way of beautifying.
Wow, that's really,
And
it's true.
also, ah, yeah, sorry.
No, please, please.
um, Also, when you get used to do this, you can get into activate state of flow and be joyful and radiant, and that shows in your face, in your demeanor, the skin.
Hmm, hmm.
So that's a way, that's how I see it, how mindfulness and being present can beautify.
Oh, wow. Yes, I think you explained that very beautifully. I love your first sharing included the senses and really being aware of them. Because I think so often in our modern world, we tend to detach from our senses in order to do what's in front of us, do what we need to do, and instead of just being, to receive the flow, right? To
Yeah.
be a part of flow of energy and exchanging with our environment. I think that's fantastic. Have you found that through your work with individuals, the transformation happen for them, that it's like they start with you and they think they're just being mindful, and then all of a sudden the world is presenting different opportunities for them? Has that happened for your clients?
Well, it takes, yeah, eventually, but it doesn't take one day or a week. It's something that's a process. Like everything else, it's a process and cyclical. So you start learning and then you go back and you implement, integrate, and then again. But um, the fantastic thing is that whatever happens in the brain, when you start doing it consistently, you will notice a change, transformation. uh, and because there's neuroplasticity, the more you do it and the more you practice, it just starts to become automatic, like driving a car that becomes automatic.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a little bit of time, it takes a little dedication, but it's fun and it's not hard once you get into it. And that's why you see how mindfulness now is everywhere. Everybody's talking about it because it's it's it has that effect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. You do see, I see people writing about it, publishing about it. You see a lot of awareness about it, and still, there are plenty of people who aren't really practicing this. So I think that there's still a lot of room for improvement. I just
Yeah.
wanted something I wanted to ask you is, so as you're in your embodied state as Fanny, when did you become in tune with this nature of mindfulness? Like, when did you become aware of it?
Well, I have to be honest, I was not aware until I seek to get knowledge. I was at one point living through life and things happen. So life happens.
Yeah.
So I got through some challenges in my life that left me really in bad shape. So that's why I started my journey trying to, I had to make a choice, just fall into a deep depression and or seek for ways of getting out and feeling good. So that's why I started with Reiki, and I also started ballroom dancing, and then uh, I've been doing, this is a hobby, but it's fun, and I've been doing that for, it's going to be 20 years or so.
I love that.
And then when I did many things, but only when I started with mindfulness, that when the transformation happened, and it was incredible. It changed my life, and it changed, I know that it has changed and transformed many people that I know, because that's what happens. Your brain starts changing, and for in a good way, So I only have good things about it, good things to tell you, but I didn't know, I was not aware about mindfulness before that. I heard about
Mhm.
it, but I didn't explore it. Actually, it was a friend of mine that saw me in such a distress, took maybe took pity on me, and she said, "Why don't you try this? There's this new course, and it's intense." And she just had finished, so I said, "Well, I'll try." And it was it has been a long time,
Hmm.
from that moment until now, but it's incredible. Yes, everybody should know and apply these principles.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love um I love how you got to that point. I feel like I've done yoga for many, many years. And then
Hmm.
I, before the pandemic, I started getting certified to teach yoga just because I felt like I had studied Ayurveda and then that embodiment, um, the embodied practice of moving slowly, attuning the body is when I really fully became aware of mindfulness. Um, and through having children, I think when you have kids, in order to really enjoy the parenting, to enjoy the presence of this new human that needs you, mindfulness is required. And I remember after the birth of my second kid, I was like, oh, I can't focus. I don't know what I'm doing. And finding a meditation group locally really helped me so much. So there have been these little forces in my life where I've kind of anchored into mindfulness, meditation, and body practice. And I love that you shared ballroom dancing because
Yes,
that's an embodiment, right? Like
absolutely.
you have to connect with someone, you have to be present in the body. That's powerful.
And also, don't forget the music. It's magical. When you start dancing and moving to the music, it's amazing. And that's why I continue so many years, because it's just helps me in a different way. And I
Mhm.
incorporate everything into mindfulness, into whatever I teach, different modalities. Yes,
Wonderful.
but the ballroom dancing is uh, awesome. It's fun.
And it's so sensory driven. I feel like people forget about the senses. We forget about them, and they're like complete synthesizers of information into the body. And to express yourself through the senses, as in dancing or playing music or art, whatever. I feel like you're better able to find that ability to be mindful, really connect with flow.
Yes, because one of the things when you that I teach, little techniques how to get into mindfulness and practice little exercises, is always get present and start paying attention to your one of the ways, your breath, and the temperature of the breath and the quality. And that's also, breathing is calming. And then paying attention to each sensation in your body, the muscles, uh, and also
Mhm.
sensations outside, the smells, the colors, and sounds, all of that. It trains your brain, but it's so important to be able to pay attention and feel it, and really absorb that, not only
Okay.
because of um, being mindfulness, but it's a way of grounding you.
Hmm.
And there are many ways to get into mindfulness, but that's a very one of the things that the senses and being able to embody. That's when you really know that you're present.
Yes, absolutely. And I love the breath. I follow Thich Nhat Hanh. You know, I still read all of his books. Um, but his anchor always is through the breath, connecting with the breath to breathe. And it really is, I mean, in Sanskrit, pranayama means vital life force or life energy, depending upon how you want to translate it. And it's just powerful. So let me just ask you, so when did you realize, so you have all of these certifications, and when did you realize that this mindfulness, neurocoaching, like how did you know this was going to just begin to grow for you? How did you know you wanted to embark on it?
I didn't know it was going to grow, but it just happened organically. I just kept going because every time something else unveils and you discover something else about yourself, and it has been life changing for me, but I didn't really know initially. I knew I had I had this intuitive feeling that I wanted very badly to go with it and continue. That's what I had, but I cannot explain. But it was something inside, our
Mm-hmm.
this voice that whispers sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't always pay attention. But I guess throughout the years, I learned to pay attention to that voice. Yes.
Oh, that's
Uh,
wonderful. That's wonderful. And how has it transformed your path? Because I know you were hosting a, a group on Clubhouse and
oh
like you
yes.
were collaborating, like you seem like you have in so many endeavors. Tell us a
Well,
little bit about.
I explore different things like you'd have.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yes, definitely.
yes, but it's all part of the same. I really want to help people be mindful and be present and have joy and have the sense of belonging, and
Yes.
that's how I do it. I try to spread my word and whatever I know, my knowledge, and teach
Mhm.
other people. So that's why.
It's
uh,
wonderful.
yeah, yes,
I mean, I think I keep thinking about the North American culture, the American culture, and just how needed mindfulness is. You know, there's so many issues, problems on so many levels. I just feel like we need more teachers like you, Fanny. So I'm so grateful that you're doing this work. Something that
thank
I'm
you.
when, yeah, no, I mean, you read one section of the news and it's like, okay, that could be handled with someone learning mindfulness practices probably.
But
But
it's not only in the North American culture, it's
yes,
global. It's
no, that's a great point.
yeah,
It is. It's all around the world. I mean, I feel like with climate change, it's going to take mindfulness to reconnect with our human nature to to really redirect all that undoing that needs to happen.
yes.
Um, I think mindfulness is really the only way to.
And also the Qigong helps you reconnect with the earth, the energy of the earth, nature. That's why I like to blend all together.
Yes, I love
Because
it.
it's the same but in a different way, but it's the same, it has the same outcome. It's calming
Yes.
down the energy,
Hmm.
love.
Love, self-love.
Yes, how can we
Yes,
be more loving?
I know. I love that. I in my work, I've understood and understand that teaching people how to do self-care, that it's important for you to work on your personal energy, because it really, we say it's radiant, but it really does impact everyone around
Yeah,
you. And it's just a level of hygiene, in my opinion. I
absolutely.
love, and I love Qigong. It is so grounding, right? Like you literally connect with the earth on different levels through the body.
And the universe, the energy, the wisdom. Yes.
Yes, I love it. Something I wanted to ask you about, Fanny, is the brain, the neuro part of this. Because sometimes mindfulness can sound a little esoteric to some people. And for those folks, I feel like understanding the science behind this can be very enlivening to get them on board. And I know I have in-laws, and whenever they hear, oh, Angela's doing yoga or whatever, but then when I talk about the science behind it, they're engaged. Do you find that to be true with some of your clients?
Yes. For example, I been a therapist for a long time in schools, and when I do teach all my students, special ed students, mindfulness and a little mindful movement, qigong, and some parents, when they heard you have to work and there was a plan and you have to tell
Yeah.
what is it that you're doing with the kids, so some parents, when they hear mindfulness, oh, I don't want that, I don't want that because it's a woo. it's
Yeah,
a,
right.
it's a, it's religious, and it's not religious at all. It's but people do not know that they need to be educated.
Yeah.
But it's spiritual, that is not religious. They think because they think it's related to Buddhism and different religions, but it's not religions. It's part of what some people in some religious uh, groups do, but it's
Yeah.
not that. Yeah, and why? Um, for example, the um, the mindfulness, they have been, since it started the movement, it has been studied by neuroscientists, and then there are so many studies that show the brain, what happens and why it's effective, and what it does, what you have. There is in the center in the brain, that the brain has many, many, many networks, but there are three different networks, major networks that we talk about, but there's a lot more. And when you get into a mindful state, you activate one of the networks in the brain that's called the salient network. And that is the one that uh, the region activates, the region in the brain where all the values are: the kindness, empathy, compassion,
Hmm.
curiosity. So then when that gets activated, calm down, and I'm explaining it very,
Yeah.
very lightly. There's more
No, it's
than that.
good.
But when that gets activated, when you are into mindful state, it calms down everything else and balances other different networks in the brain. One of them is the executive network, and the other one is the imagination network. It's like it calms everything else down and balances. And that's a
Wow.
very quick and superficial explanation I
No,
gave you.
that's so
I
good.
hope
I
it
love
was
it.
clear. I hope it was clear because it's a lot. There's a lot more than that.
No, it's a good primer. And for folks who want to learn more from Fanny, we're going to have some information at the end of this podcast. And you can work more with Fanny to go deeper. And that was called the Salient.
Salient. Yeah.
Salient. Okay.
S as in Sam. SN is how it's
Okay.
they
Referred
yes.
to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Salient.
Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. So, this is a little slightly off topic here, but my daughter, she's a junior in high school. She goes to, it's a college prep high school, and it's very rigorous this year because it's junior year and she's applying for colleges in the fall. And she has been reading about this thing called executive, um,
Network. Network.
well, her thing that she's thinking, the way she's reading about it is it's like executive functioning disorder or something like that, kind of like ADHD, but
Yeah.
it's executive functioning disorder. And she's like, I think I have that. And oh my gosh, she's gonna be so mad at me for sharing this, but I think that what's happening is she's trying to figure out why she is stressed right now, is really what it is. She's
That,
incredibly high functioning.
but she may have a little bit. We all
Yeah.
have a little bit of that probably, but
Yeah.
she would benefit to learn that because it's so. Once she learns how to be mindful, and if she learns a little bit of
Hmm.
the neuroscience behind, and you can read things and they're easy to understand. And
Yeah.
yes, but there is such a thing, executive um, dysfunction. Yes.
Okay. Okay. No, I just feel like I use that anecdote for others to better understand that deep connection with being able to tap into the SN, right? And then everything else flourishes from there. So it's sort of
Yeah.
a baseline for our functioning, the salient network. Is that right? Instead
Yes,
of
but
like higher
everything works.
functioning.
It's a little bit more
Okay,
complete.
okay, okay.
It,
All right, we can't oversimplify it then. We can just leave it
but
there.
I did write a very nice article that was published by Brains magazine a few months ago, and I explained everything there with all the research, and I explain in a
Okay.
way that's easy to understand because
Oh, good.
it gets complex if you don't if you go and look at the research, you end up with a headache. But
No,
yes,
no,
so
it's always great to have someone, an expert like you, sort out the information and help explain it.
yeah,
No, oh my gosh, I totally wrote this down. I'm gonna sit with her and have a look at that.
in my
Yeah.
website, if you go to my website,
Yes.
I have blogs in the blog area. I publish the blog that was published. I put a link there, and
Okay.
in one of the blogs, so you can go and click and read everything about it, and it's yeah.
Wonderful. And if you're listening, it's fannyelizaga.com, right? No, sorry, fannyelizagacoaching.com.
Coaching.com, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll have that in the show notes so you can explore more about Fanny's work. I love this segue here because I know that you have a training coming up,
Yes.
and I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Tell me more about
Oh,
what we're going to learn. I've been waiting for this training, by the way.
oh.
I've been waiting for a while. I'm excited to come to this webinar. Tell us about it.
Well, I'm preparing to launch a course to help people, mostly women, but anybody, to really learn how to stop the stress and the overwhelm with techniques that are easy, and then they can. So let me rephrase it. So the webinar, the free training, I'm going to
Mhm.
show some three key um, techniques or three principles, so that will help immediately, like instantly, release the stress, stop the stress, interrupt the stress and the negative thinking. And why is that important? So it you you don't get, the brain doesn't get into this cycle of it's a looping stress, and
Yeah.
then it, the brain is used to always reacting with stress. And in this, nowadays, the modern life and all the things that are happening in the world and the pandemic, we are exposed to chronic stress, and that is really bad. It's
Yeah.
bad for the body, for the brain. And this, in I think it's so important to be able to understand and know how to do it and learn these techniques to
Mhm.
just stop the looping and the reaction of stress. It's a condition. It's
Mhm.
conditioning, and that then we get dysregulated, and it's a cycle that goes on. So that's what I'm doing, explaining in my training, the
Oh,
free
I
event.
love it. Oh my gosh, that's going to be great. I think that teaching through the embodied way that you're describing, teaching people how to go there, not only are they going to get to learn about your course, but they're actually going to really benefit in the moment, which I love. When I had my one-on-one coaching with you, it's been a while, but I still remember it. And what I loved about it is I walked in to our Zoom meeting one way, really stressed. This was at kind of the height of the pandemic. I felt so grateful to have this opportunity to do a Zoom coaching. And at the end of it, I have a house full of people. My husband's a journalist, a lot of stress in the house with news at that time. And you gave me this tangible, guided way. And at the end of our coaching, I was so reset, enlivened, excited. And I feel like when I do these practices now, Fanny, for me, what's really coming through recently is I feel like I have more access to enjoy our modern life because
Yeah,
there are so many gifts in technology, in this ability to have access to anything any time of the day. There are a lot of benefits to it, and I think that sometimes we can get mired in how we're doing this life within the modern culture without taking time to remember we're actually animals, we're human, we're
humans.
we have to we have to be present. And when you can learn that from a professional like you, then you can enjoy all this modern life because there are a lot of fun things about it, right? Like, I've been
That's
really trying
true.
to spin it to feel more positive for myself. Um,
But I'm glad that I had the positive impact in you that day.
oh my gosh. Well, like I've been like trailing you. I'm like, how are you doing? What's going on? We've stayed connected for so long now, it feels like.
Yeah, I'm
I
glad
love
we're
it.
connected. Yeah.
Yes. So I think what I'm going to do, my daughter and I are going to sign up for your free training.
Oh,
And
sounds good.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. And that's
So
it's happening on, I don't want to
March
mess up,
30th.
March 30th. Exciting.
Um,
So
it's at 11 a.m. You're in Pacific time, yes?
that's right.
Yes, 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And when they sign up on your website, you're going to have a link for a sign up.
You have I think you have
I
the
have
links.
I have the link, so I can
Yes,
include that in my show notes, of course.
yes, and they can sign up. It's for the free event. Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. And
I would
you
love to
also have a
have you.
oh, I'm coming. I'm totally gonna come. I'm so excited. And you also have a great ebook, which I think is super helpful for people who like to read. I think it really breaks down the steps to mindfulness in such a wonderful way. So I'd like to give some love for that too.
And
And
if you go to my website, a window will pop out, and then you can sign up for the ebook if you want. Yes.
okay, okay, that's great. So, Fanny, tell me, I just want to ask you a little personal question here. Tell me about those beautiful masks behind you. Are those from
That's a,
your travel, or what is, tell us a little bit about
that's
that.
a thing of mine, and I've been obsessed, I guess, because I have many.
Hmm.
I have another wall in another area of the house, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't know before why, but now I think I found an answer. Why do I like to collect all these masks?
Yeah.
And I think it has been an exploration of mine to get to know different aspects of myself. We all have different aspects and personalities, and uh, some aspects are better than others. Some,
Yeah.
and so I realized that that's why I've been collecting all this, because I am really getting deep into getting to know myself, and maybe unmask some of the hidden aspects that I have, or I may not like that much. So I just it has been interesting. I realized this like a year ago. That's why I'm doing this having this collection. So it's very profound.
Yeah, no, I love it.
It's a
It's so,
symbolic thing. Yes.
isn't that interesting how our self-reflection it develops over time, as we all do. But I think sometimes we feel like when we're adults or at a certain age, like, oh, we're done. But actually, that's not true. We're always developing throughout our
Oh,
life.
we are, some more than others,
Yeah.
depending if you put some effort into it, but it's evolving.
Yes, evolving. That's a beautiful way to put it. Well, Fanny, I just want to thank you so much for being here with me. I'm excited to learn more in your webinar and your free training on March 30th. And if you would like, I'm going to have all of this in my show notes.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're welcome. So, if you want to learn more about Fanny's work and get in touch with Fanny, you can go to her website, Fanny Elizaga Coaching.
Coaching.
Com. And we'll have the spelling in the website, but on the show notes. Is there anything else you want to add to
No,
our
thank you
morning
so
together?
much for having. It was fun. It was so much fun.
Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you.
I'm so excited that you came. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.